I get a feeling it's going to be a riot.
I don't read the newspapers because they all have ugly prints.
At the starting of the week, at so many talks you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday. Negotiations breaking down. See the leaders start to frown. It's more than Monday.
We are back with another edition of your favorite morning show, The Daily Dose on the Guerrilla Radio Network.
We'll be sitting, taking lunch. The news will hit you like a punch. It's only Tuesday.
What's happening?
Ask your doctor if the Daily Dose is right for you. Common side effects include sarcasm, informed opinions, and wondering how the hell these people got elected. The Daily Dose starts now.
What's happening?
Tomorrow never comes until it's too late.
Well, here we are again. As promised, it is the Scumbag Friday edition of your Daily Dose right here on the Guerrilla Radio Network. Hopefully everyone had a good week thus far. We're finishing up strong. It's Friday. We're getting ready to head into the weekend. So you guys made it. Good job. Good job. I still have one day to go. Unfortunately, I do have Saturday still on my agenda, but nonetheless, after Saturday, I will be resting and relaxing as you folks will be doing on Saturday and Sunday. So that's good news. Time is 9:31, and the date today is August 28, 2026. The year of our Lord, 2026. That's where we are, everybody. Time is just flying by. It is ridiculous how quickly time is flying. I mean, it seems like it was just Christmas a couple of weeks ago. And here we are again. It's time to start making preparations. It'll be Halloween before we know it, then Thanksgiving. Hopefully we have a lot to be thankful for. And then yet again, Christmas time. Jolly old fat Saint Nick will be coming down that chimney one more time, another year. And then it's going to be New Year's again. 2026 will be gone, and we will have a great start to 2027. Now, excuse me, I've called Friday Scumbag Friday for a reason. I like to go over all the scumbag events of the week and address them head on right here on your Daily Dose. And hopefully today's show does not disappoint. Some of these stories can be scumbag related. Others can be definitely scumbag related. But some of them are just kind of something, just to kind of fill in a little bit. Scumbag related, but not necessarily directly scumbag related. So let's go ahead and get started. What do you say? Here's a real scumbag story. Well, before we get into the real scumbag story, let's just do a quick update on the floods in Nepal. Like I said yesterday, this is just, it's so sad and so crazy what we're seeing going on over there. I mean, I heard a stat this morning, and I don't know the truth behind it, but I mean, the missing people now are in the tens of thousands, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So here's a quick update on the flooding in Nepal. And we'll try to keep you updated on this as much as we can as this story continues to unfold further and further across the way. So nothing to do with scumbags, but just a quick show update to make sure that you're in the loop.
Well, Chinese President Xi Jinping has called for rescue efforts after a deadly flood on the border with Nepal. Now, warning that to our viewers are that you might find these pictures a bit disturbing. At least 100 people have been killed and hundreds more are missing after a violent flash flood in the area. You're looking at the moment when the waters of mud tore through a checkpoint and surrounding villages yesterday. Let's bring in Swati Pandey. She leads our South Asia economy and government coverage and joins us now. Heartbreaking pictures, to say the least. Swati, just bring us up to speed on what's the latest on the rescue efforts now.
Yes, Yvonne, the situation is moving quite rapidly. The search and rescue team is looking and kind of trying to reach out to tourists in the region and figure out the toll. The numbers we have are changing, so I don't want to give a number, but hundreds of people are missing. More than 150 are dead, and there are fears the casualty number would increase further from here.
It's incredible. It's amazing. You know, Mother Nature. They always say, "Don't fuck with Mother Nature," because she's a real bitch. And there you go. That is proof that you do not want to mess around. It's crazy. I mean, I feel so badly for the people over there. And I know our president, Donnie T, said he's going to send over whatever resources he can in order to help the search and rescue efforts, which is, well, I don't want to say it's commendable because he should do that anyway as a world leader. But that's one good thing that Donnie T is doing. But yeah, our hearts go out for sure to the people of Nepal, because that is just and what does that even sound like? You know, you're walking down the street and you hear something in the background and it's like, you know, gurgling a little bit, whatever. And then all of a sudden it's got to sound like a freight train, like a tornado times 100 just rushing in your direction. And what do you do? You know, what the fuck do you do at that point? You know, I mean, you can't outrun it. You know, you all you can do is get to higher ground. I mean, if you can outclimb it, God bless you, but I really doubt you can do that either. So yeah, it's pretty amazing what's going on over there, and it's horrible. So yeah, we definitely have the Nepalese people in our thoughts, and I think it's only going to get worse as we move forward with the days to come, with the death toll and the injuries and the devastation and destruction. It's only going to continue to get worse. So we'll continue to keep you posted here on the Guerrilla Radio Network on your daily dose as the story unfolds further. In case you've been sleeping under a rock for the last 48 hours, that happened in light of the two major losses of entertainers, Tim Curry and Dolly Parton. And then we have Nepalese flood. Crazy. What the fuck's going on in this world? It's going down. We're going to hell in a handbasket. That's what the kids are saying these days. Hell in a handbasket. I don't really know what that means, but it's always been a saying. Very interesting. So let's get into a little bit of scumbag news. What do you say, everybody? I've been waiting all week to do this. And here's a scumbag that deserves top billing on Scumbag Friday. This scumbag left her two babies in the backseat of her car while she proceeded to go into a store, I believe it's a Target, and shoplift. Yeah, you heard me. She went in the store, do a little shoplifting, and left her two babies in the car, burning.
First here at 5, a Pinellas mother is sitting in jail tonight, charged with leaving two children in a hot car, all while deputies say she went into a store and shoplifted. Fox 13's Kaylee Tracy has details on the case, as well as insight from law enforcement about what you can do if you ever see a person or an animal left alone in a car.
Officers say Valerie Coleman walked into this Target on Park Street North in St. Pete Monday and stole more than $200 worth of items, all while officers say two children under her care sat in a hot car as the feels-like temperature reached almost 100 degrees. According to Coleman's arrest report, she drove a motorized cart around the store, picked up several things, and hid them in her purse. On her way out, though, the loss prevention team, who saw everything through cameras in the store, stopped her. While investigating the shoplifting, deputies found that Coleman left a 1-year-old and a 14-year-old in a car that she turned off with no air conditioning for about 15 minutes. The report says both kids were extremely overheated and the 1-year-old had to go to the hospital. Pinellas deputy Jeff Moore says the law does allow you to intervene if you see a person or an animal trapped in a hot car.
As long as a person is acting in good faith, they believe that there's a pet or a human being inside of imminent danger, they call 911. They're going to be immune from civil liability if they break the window to a car to try to help aid the person or animal from inside. It's also important to remember that you need to remain on scene and wait for first responders to arrive so you can give them your information. You can't just break a car window and leave. And you need to also minimize the damage when you're trying to get somebody out of the car as well.
Deputy Moore says the inside temperature of a car with the engine off can jump 20 degrees in just 10 minutes. Coleman will be back in court tomorrow afternoon. Reporting in St. Pete, Kaylee Tracy, Fox 13 News.
What the fuck is wrong with that lady? You know what I mean? All right. So first of all, she's a scumbag. You know, she's okay. So maybe you're down on your luck a little bit. You know what I mean? You just got laid off at work, or you're not making ends meet. So the only way you can provide for your family is to go in there and steal a little bit. Now, I don't believe that's the case in this situation in the least. I just think she was a complete scumbag. First of all, she clearly can walk. So she takes a motorized cart from a handicapped person that probably needed it and decides to just scoot around the store, putting items from the shelf into her purse. And like I always say on the show, you cannot get away with anything these days. There are cameras everywhere. So, of course, these major stores, Target, Walmart, all these other, giant media outlets or giant retail outlets that are out there, they have cameras everywhere that watch everything. Motion censored cameras, tracking ability that can track you from the minute you walk into the door until the minute you walk out of the door with your purchase. Why? First of all, why would you go in there and test that system and see if it's going to work? That doesn't make any sense. So first of all, she's a fucking moron for even trying to attempt that, because she's going to get busted. She's going to get caught. And then how dumb is she after that she can't even leave the air conditioning running for her 2 kids that are inside of the car. Now, it's unclear to me whether or not these were her kids or if they were another, individual's kids that she was just taking care of, because it said that they were under her care. So I don't know if that means she's the mother or if she was the contracted caregiver. Not sure. But nonetheless, she was responsible for the well-being and the safety of these 2 kids while she went inside, did a scumbag move, and stole everything from the shelves and tried to get away with it. Now, why would you not just leave the car running at that point? Leave the air conditioning on, roll the windows down, something. You know what I mean? Quit being a scumbag on every level possible. And just for once in your life, lady, just do the right thing. You know what I mean? Three strikes against you. First of all, you took a motorized cart from a potential handicapped person that needed it. Strike number 1, because you're lazy. You don't want to work. That's why you have to go and shoplift, because you're a lazy scumbag. Secondly, you go and you steal everything in the store and you put it in your purse. Then you get caught stealing. That's your second strike. Third strike, and worst of them all, you leave your 2 kids in the back of your car baking in the Florida sun in the middle of summer. You deserve everything that the law is allowed to throw at you, and hopefully you can get a little bit more. You need to spend a lot of time in prison reflecting on your life and the bad decisions that you've made to get to the position you're in right now, and the bad decisions that you make moving forward. You're a horrible person, and you're a scumbag. You are absolutely worthy of our first story on Scumbag Friday, if I may say so myself. Let's continue to move on with Scumbag Friday. Now, this story doesn't necessarily facilitate a scumbag name. It doesn't necessarily require a scumbag title, but it's definitely worthy of something. It's definitely worthy of something. This guy apparently made a homemade guillotine driving around with it in the back of his truck and was driving it to Washington, got caught and busted for having a weapon. Now, I don't really know if it's considered a weapon, a guillotine. You know what I mean? It's kind of more like a device, but nonetheless, I guess they don't have laws written that prohibit you from using lethal devices in public places. But nonetheless, this fine young gentleman definitely got busted with a homemade guillotine in the back of his truck driving to Washington. Wow.
First up, a San Diego man is now facing charges connected to having a guillotine in his pickup truck. He drove it across the country to Washington, D.C., where he was then arrested. The man is now charged with carrying a dangerous weapon. Tonight, in an NBC7 exclusive, Dave Summers speaks with the suspect's father about his son's bizarre protest.
I built a guillotine. I'm going to drive this to Washington, D.C.
If it was a revolution Phylon Lee was looking for, an arrest is what he found. His intentions were announced on social media well before he made the trip. His father, Hui, is just hearing about it from us.
Did you hear about this?
No, I already told him. That's stupid.
Phylon built the 10-foot guillotine in his father's backyard, which is situated in this affluent neighborhood of Carlsbad. Hui says it took his son 3 months and a lot of his spare time. Did he want to cause harm to someone?
No, not really cause harm. He was thinking, like to demonstrate he's upset. A mannequin, somebody who he thinks like a dirty politician, he'll put the name on, on the mannequin and then probably try to video and send to his dumb friends.
Phylan is a tattoo artist by trade. For a time, he worked at Berserker Tattoo Studio in Julian. The owner of the shop turned down an on-camera interview, but says he knew Phylan and that Phylan worked here as a guest artist.
What a great name for a tattoo shop. Berserker. I love it. I love everything about it. So this guy, definitely not worthy of a scumbag recognition on the show on Scumbag Friday on your Daily Dose Guerrilla Radio Network, but definitely an honorary member of the Scumbag Friday edition. That's absolutely freaking hilarious to me. The guy actually spent his free time building a guillotine and then tried to transport it across the country in the back of his truck. How goddamn funny is that? You know what I mean? He must have had a lot of time on his hands. You know what I mean? I guess the tattoo shop he worked at, Berserker, wasn't going berserk for the last few months when he was in the backyard trying to build the guillotine. But he did a pretty good job. I mean, I've never personally seen a guillotine in person. I've seen pictures of them, and I've never actually had the pleasure of seeing one in person. But I can only imagine that if that's what a guillotine is supposed to look like and operate as such, he did a phenomenal job building it. So good job. Good job. Now, crazy fun fact, the last guillotine execution was in France in 1976. Interesting. It's either 1976 or 77, one of those two. But yeah, they still had guillotine executions in France up until the mid-1970s. I always found that fact to be a little bit humorous. So there you have it, everybody. Don't go building guillotines in your backyard and driving them around town, because you might get stopped by local law enforcement. And I believe at that point, they'll probably have the full right within their reach of the law to search your vehicle moving forward. Again, I'm no law expert. I'm no lawyer, and I'm certainly no police officer, but I would assume they probably do. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break and have a word from our sponsors, Dubby, over at www.dubby.gg. W Energy, clean, no jitters, no crash, just focus and all natural energy. Enter the promo code Guerrilla Radio at checkout for 10% off your entire order and exclusive member discounts. W Energy, lock in, stay sharp, and dominate your day. Now I remember when I was young, 16, 17 years old, I used to like to sit behind the PlayStation 2 that I had back in those days. Or it could have been the original PlayStation for all I know. It was one of the original versions. And I would love to play games like Need for Speed, Gran Turismo, all the racing games. And I would sit there and I would play this game for hours trying to beat these races. And I would get tired. I would lose my focus, probably because my roommate and I were smoking weed the entire time. And that might have been making me tired as well. But nonetheless, I would absolutely lose my focus halfway through the process. I wish back in those days I had W Energy. I would have taken a shot of that so fast, and I would have beaten that race in the blink of an eye. Since I've stopped playing video games. But what I do know is that if you are a gamer and you like to waste your life away doing useless shit that's never going to make a difference in anyone's world, including your own, you should probably do it with Dubby. Go to www.dubby.gg and use the promo code Gorilla Radio at checkout, and I will personally give you 10% off your entire order, you fat, lazy bastard. I don't know if they're going to like the way I just spun that product. But you know what? It is what it is. My show. I don't care. Now we're on Scumbag Friday stories again, moving forward. These people, some might consider scumbags, some might consider heroes. I'll let you determine and decide what you'd like to consider them. Moving forward, let's talk about our governor of the great state of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and how he, I don't want to use the word stole, but allegedly moved $10 million in funds from his wife's charity to his own campaign trail. And he just got busted.
Now the grand jury report on Hope Florida is out, still under seal, but leaked to the public. It found the DeSantis administration misappropriated millions of taxpayer dollars. Local 10's Glenna Milberg is in the newsroom with the growing reaction tonight. Glenna?
Nicole, that grand jury report is a bombshell, but with no explosion at the end. It documents how the DeSantis administration diverted $10 million of taxpayer money to the governor's political activities, but it stopped short of holding anyone accountable.
How did the foundation that funds the First Lady's Hope Florida initiative get $10 million skimmed from what was supposed to be public money? The grand jury report leaked to CBS Miami calls it a sophisticated scheme. That money was misappropriated.
The only crime that was apparent was whoever leaked the grand jury report.
The governor's spinning a glowing report today, though the grand jury found anything but 19 pages finding $10 million skimmed from a settlement for taxpayers had logic, lack thereof, rush timing, no notification, no oversight.
Nobody did anything wrong here. There was not even probable cause to move forward. This is a hoax.
The jury findings mimicking the work and findings from this House subcommittee last year, whose chair was the one to take it all to prosecutors in the first place. Basically a shell game, diverting taxpayers $10 million into a series of political action committees, the final one run by the governor's then chief of staff, James Othmeyer, and dispensed into the governor's campaign against marijuana and abortion rights amendments that year that ultimately did fail.
Like Amendment 4, an abortion amendment.
The point person.
So, what have we learned? Governor Ron DeSantis is worthy of a scumbag recognition on Scumbag Friday. That's what we've learned. Oh, man, if I had a trumpet sound effect, I would play it right now. But unfortunately, I just decided to do that on the fly, and I am unprepared to do so. So, our governor of the great state of Florida, the free state, is what he calls it. The unwoke state of Florida, was skimming money from a charity that his wife runs for his own personal campaign. Interesting. Very interesting. And what's his big problem with weed and abortions at the end of the day? You know what I mean? Who cares? I wish somebody would have aborted his ass before he got put in office. I can't stand that guy. And it's not because of political views. It's because I hate his fucking face. He just looks like just a wretched scumbag of a person. And he's got that high-pitched voice. He sounds like, I don't know, like he should be on the Muppet Show in some facet, doing something. And his face just annoys the piss out of me. You know, he's just one of those people that you look at and you're like, God, I wish he just had a different face. You know what I mean? I wish he did. That would be great. So yeah, our governor of the great state of Florida caught red-handed, taking money. But there will be no repercussions because he's a high-ranking political official. And it'll just get swept under the carpet like it always does with these politicians. And we hear about it today. We'll never hear about it again tomorrow. Here it is again, everybody. Here it is again. And you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery, 'cause everybody's such.
Welcome to What It Do with Donnie T, where the nation pauses to see if anything got done today, or if the presidency is just a full-time job posting on Truth Social all day and all night once again. Let's check it out and see. It is that time of the show once again, my friends out there in the internet world, where we talk about our leader, Commander-in-Chief, Donald J. Trump. He's up to it again. He's doing it again. Executive order. He signed an executive order yesterday to change the 400-year name of Lake Ontario to Lake America. He did it again. And here we are. Now it's called Lake America.
Next tonight, President Trump escalating his trade war with Canada, signing a new executive order renaming Lake Ontario Lake America. Canada's Prime Minister and some American officials pushing back. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, President Trump escalating his trade war with Canada, signing an executive order to rename Lake Ontario.
We're going to be changing the name of Lake Ontario, effective immediately, to Lake America.
The president fuming since Ontario Premier Doug Ford unloaded on him when the trade deal fell apart.
Well, he can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned.
Today, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney noting the name of the lake dates back more than 400 years, adding this lake is called Lake Ontario today and forever. The lake borders New York, whose Governor Kathy Hochul bluntly rejected the president's new name, posting, "New York won't be calling it that." It comes as Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick spent the day in court watching his administration lawyers try to convince a judge to allow President Trump's name to go up on the Kennedy Center, telling reporters it would motivate the president to raise money for renovations.
You need to induce him, entice him, get him to agree to wear it and do it. And if he didn't do it, you could always take the letters down.
The administration has even threatened to demolish the Kennedy Center entirely if Trump's name doesn't go up. Reporters.
Lake America, not even Lake of America, Lake America. So now we have Gulf of America, and we also have Lake America. One swipe of the pen erased 400 years. Just like that. The Canadians are not very happy right now with the United States of America. Just so you guys know, if you haven't realized that, the Canadian people and the Canadian government are very upset with what's going on, and rightfully so. I believe they should be. So I don't, like I said on the show yesterday, he just takes on these ridiculously stupid battles, and none of them have any impact on anything. Maybe in the United States, it's going to be called Lake America, but the rest of the world will still be calling it Lake Ontario. So, yeah, I don't know. That's two bodies of water that he's stolen and renamed under his current administration. Very interesting. And I can't wait to see what unfolds over the weekend, because this is one of my favorite segments on this show, is just talking about ridiculous and stupid Donald Trump news and how he takes on these crazy projects and spearheads them when everything else in the world is completely falling down around. He just takes on the dumbest shit ever and makes that a priority. So there you have it, everybody. Lake of America. Now, finally, in Scumbag Friday, I have the two biggest scumbags, in my personal opinion, that have ever walked the face of the earth. And thankfully, they are incarcerated, at least for the time being. And I'm talking about the Tate brothers. These misogynistic, complete assholes are sitting in a jail cell right now. And the stories and the information about these two just continue to flood our airwaves, because they're just two of the biggest assholes that are out for only themselves and personal gain. And here's some of the reasons why.
Multiple passports, fake identities. We are getting a closer look at the court documents on the charges against the Tate brothers.
Local 10's Bridget Matters joining us live in Miami with these new details tonight. Bridget.
Louis, a lot of new information in these documents. The Tate brothers' lawyers, they are trying to get them bond, to get them out of jail. And these new documents lay out some really troubling details about potential new identities and hidden passports.
New court documents reveal prosecutors believe Andrew and Tristan Tate have multiple passports and identities to help them evade law enforcement, calling them a major flight risk. The two have been in the downtown Miami Federal Detention Center since July 19th. Several social media posts used by prosecutors point to self-proclaimed misogynist Andrew Tate boasting online in 2021 that he is untouchable, saying, quote, "I can be in another country under a different name with a penthouse and $300,000 if things go bad." And this one, posted the same year, says in part, "Court date, I absolutely do not care." UK authorities are seeking their extradition for 59 charges related to rape and human trafficking. The allegations taking place between 2010 and 2017. Prosecutors say Tristan Tate may have a Mexican passport under the name Vladimir Scorpius. A photo of it was included in the filing. Officials in Mexico say they have no record of issuing a passport in that name. The document says the UK have not received travel alerts for the brothers' true passports. And quote, UK authorities suspect that the Tates may be traveling on unknown passports in their possession. Prosecutors referenced a video of Andrew appearing on Patrick Butler's podcast.
So, for example, I have 7 passports. I have 15 driver's licenses.
Their lawyer says they have no plans to evade the law and penned in a recent motion following their 2022 arrest in Romania, quote, "The brothers traveled to 9 other countries, and on every occasion they returned to Romania to check in with authorities because their release conditions required it." Since being arrested, someone is posting to social media on Andrew's behalf. A post from 2 days ago reads, "Bugattis, money, federal prison, prosecutors after you, street notoriety, professional fights, children with endless women, etc. It's GTA 6. I live what everyone is waiting to play." The Tates claim they're innocent of the accusations against them. After the court's consideration, the final decision on extradition falls on Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Who wears skinny pants like that as a man? You know what I mean? What man do you know walks around in skin-tight pants at his court appearances? The guy's an idiot. And I hope that he gets convicted on all charges. And I hope he gets extradited to the United Kingdom and they lock him and his scumbag brother up on all 59 counts of rape, human trafficking, and what other heinous crimes they've committed that they're being accused of. I hope that the book gets thrown at them multiple times. They're two of the biggest scumbags. I mean, just look at them. You know what I mean? Andrew Tate is more vocal than his brother, Vladimir Scorpius, as his passport would suggest. But, you know, his brother is a key player in that organization as well. So he's just as guilty as his brother Andrew. And Andrew Tate is a complete blithering scumbag. And he is worthy, my friend, and his brother, my friends, of the scumbag of the day on this Scumbag Friday. Amazing to me. Well, it's Friday. It's a sad day for me because I don't get to do this tomorrow. I do take the weekends off. But I can assure you and everyone watching this now and later this evening that I will be coming up with more great content to provide you on Monday morning. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Monday morning I will not be available. Tuesday morning, I'll come back and I'll have even more content for you because that's an extra day of content collection on my behalf. So I want everyone to have a great weekend. Relax. You've worked hard all week. You deserve a break. Stay hydrated. It's hot. Go to w.gg. Use the promo code Gorilla Radio at checkout for 10% off. Also, check us out on all social media outlets if you do care to do so. Facebook, Gorilla Radio Network. Instagram, Gorilla Radio 47, or YouTube at OG Gorilla Radio. A like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to go and sign off for the weekend, and I'm going to go to work. Start my weekend now at work. Everybody, have a great weekend. It's been fun, as always.